Hello and welcome to Best Coast Comics. I am one of your hosts, Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and I'm joined by
Brian, aka Bigby McFly, the comic guy.
That's right, and we are here bringing you the latest comic news, stories to talk about going on in the comic book community, and we are happy to have a great show lined up for you. We're going to talk mostly the big topic tonight is going to be about the future of the Sony Marvel movies, the Spider films that they've been doing, the Spider related films that they've been doing. Although honestly, a large portion of the show is probably going to be a retrospective on the works of Greg Hildebrandt, who unfortunately we lost recently. So we're going to talk about a bunch of his artwork and show a bunch of his artwork that actually Bigby was nice enough to get together for us. So I really appreciate that. I'm going to try something a little bit different. Everybody watching, before we say hello to everybody, even before we get to that point, everybody watching, if you could do me a favor and think about if there's somewhere that you could go share out this show, whether that's a Discord community, an IG private chat, a Facebook group that you're a part of, somewhere that appreciates comic book content. We're going to talk about some really important stuff tonight. One of the things we're going to do here in a few minutes is we're going to talk about Heroes for Heroes and some of the awesome stuff I have to show off, including an original piece of Star Wars art. So you're going to want to see that, I'm pretty sure. Some key comic books, some fun stuff. All that stuff's coming up. So before you go and, start just enjoying the show, why don't you copy the link, share this out, and I'll even say it just this one time. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe, not only if you're on my channel, Bronze Age Nerd, but also to Bigby McFly, the comic book guy, and over on the EXP where we're streaming as well. That was a mouthful.
That was good. That was well thought out. I like that.
Yeah. I think it's just kind of good to do it, especially as we're in the lead up, by the way. I'll talk more about Heroes for Heroes in a second, but we're essentially less than 2 weeks out. It's happening on November 16th, although we are probably going to have two other big events leading up to that. Details, 100% of the details to be determined, and we'll talk about those in a second. But hey, as we're building up to Heroes for Heroes, the more eyeballs we can have on that charity auction to support our veterans, the better. So that's one of the reasons I mentioned that. Let's say hello to everybody who's here early in the show. We got GTK Comic, probably on multiple channels, which I really appreciate. Yep. Sure. Richard beat us to it. Sony just announced Agent Venom. Got to admire their persistence to continue to make movies nobody is asking for. And the timeliness of their news announcement for this show was perfect. Hashtag never quit. What's up, Richard? Actually, I'm going to be showing off some of the books you sent in for Heroes here in a second. Got Christina Payne in the house. What's up, Christina? Congratulations on your recent award, too. I just want to say thank you for making being an awesome supporter, I should say, because that's what it was for. Renegade Rants Comics. Hey, you're late. Well, you know what? You're actually just in time because I'm saying hello to you right now. So you're perfect. Dr. Plagueis. What's up, Dr. Plagueis? Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Chris from Comic Trope says Venom 4, Agent Venom, Venom dates, Aunt May, give it to me. Be careful what you wish for. Sony is probably taking notes right now. Awesome Sauce says everyone wants more than the movies. Venom was awesome sauce. So that's definitely... we'll talk about that. I will avoid spoilers, but I know Brian and I have both seen the latest Venom film. So we might discuss things around it, but we'll avoid spoilers for the actual film. Right. Just kind of a COA there at the top of the show. Like I said, first thing we're going to do is we're going to discuss Heroes for Heroes. I haven't really been showing the website too much because we haven't had any new donations in a while, but hey, that could change tonight for all I know. We are at $525, which is 7% of our $8,000 goal for 2024. If you're not familiar with Heroes for Heroes, it is a charity from the comic book community. It's an auction fundraising event that I've run for 2 years now. I'm joined by, even more so by Bigby and Comic Tropes and a few other people, Comics Limited, a lot of other people, actually, I should say, that are stepping forward to help out with this. So there's a lot of events that are going to be coming up. One of those is most likely the first thing you should know about is on Wednesday, I think at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm most likely going to have Carly from Mission 22 on for an interview. I haven't scheduled that show yet because the emails, our scheduling just kind of got finalized right before the show went live. So we're going to have her on to talk about Mission 22 and kind of, give people a chance to ask questions if they want to kind of find out a little bit more about that. And I'll probably repost some of that content as shorts or basically like, here's one question and answer from that video to kind of help promote Heroes for Heroes and talk about Mission 22. After that, am I clear to talk about the thing that we talked about for Saturday, you think?
Yeah, we have a potential host.
Okay.
He said yes. You can say it. I mean, if it falls through, we'll renegotiate.
We'll renegotiate. So one thing I've been trying to get going for a while was 2 different live art streams. We had one last year who was actually hosted by The Comic Journey, who is down in chat right now asking if we're live. That should answer your question. But this year, Comics Limited, which is Travis, a friend of ours, is going to be doing. He's kind of like spearheading the organization of a community art stream. So that's going to be people live sketching. You can bid on their sketches. It sounds like we're actually going to be hosting that over on Comic Collector Geeks channel this Saturday. Most likely, I think starting at 4 p.m. Pacific is the time I saw.
That's what Travis was talking about. He's getting all the details ironed out with that one. So
yeah, so some of those details may change a little bit, but look for announcements like on my community tab over on Instagram, and I'll be sharing out the stream when they get it scheduled, all that kind of stuff. Thank you for putting that into chat, Richard, so you guys can go check out Comics Limited channel. So that's going to be a really fun stream. There may also be a professional stream. The details on that are definitely to be determined, but point being, big auction, November 16th. So check out for all those small events. I'll make posts about all of them as they happen. So definitely go follow me over on IG, follow along on the community tab here. And then
while we're doing the art stream, like we will be taking requests. Like, who do you like? Last year I was like, who do you guys want to see me draw? Somebody's like Darkwing Duck. So we got a Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
Or we had what was it, the Baroness, right? So it's like whatever. Yep. We'll be taking requests and doing suggestions from the chat. So
yeah, and if you're out there and you're watching this or watching this on the rewind and you're an artist that wants to do something like that, reach out to us to see if we can get you in the lineup there. There's a limit to how many people can be on at once. So, if we have to go with certain numbers of people, maybe we'll have an overflow stream. I don't know, but we definitely want to hear from you if you're willing to do that. Speaking of community art,
we're talking about like putting some people, we might rotate people like backstage and just check in with, like, where people are on stuff. So
okay,
we'll see how it goes.
We'll figure it out. I'm just glad to have this many people that are wanting to cooperate and volunteer their time, which is really awesome because I know it's very, very valuable for people to do that. We want to raise as much money for this cause as possible to support our veterans. That's really what it comes down to. In service of that, I was just going to say we got the big stream coming up on November 16th. I think I missed something there. I'll figure it out later. Oh, community art. We will have community art at the end of the show tonight, too, that returns. Actually, a lot of really good community art, too, I should say. Yes. But I want to show off some of the stuff we're going to have for the auction that's come in. This is by no means an all-inclusive list. I'll be making tons and tons and tons of posts over the next couple of weeks as we lead up to the main event. But this just came in from artist Brian Ching, who you may know from his work on Supergirl, or you may know him from his work on a ton of Star Wars, the Old Republic stuff. But he just did this Darth Revan piece.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. And he just killed it. And then he actually, on the back, you'll actually see like his prelim there. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of light.
Awesome too.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat. But he just sent that in. I think that's like about a 10 by 12 or so. Super cool artwork. Brian is an awesome guy. He just got done with the Zero Ghost launch over at 24/7 Comics. Talked to him on the interview there, and he wanted to help out. He actually, I don't think he does a ton of this kind of stuff because he tends to hold on to his artwork. So that's really cool to get artwork from him. And I know he doesn't do a lot of cons either. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Dr. Blix. Oh, wait, I got to say hi to, I know Son of Crom in the chat. Definitely want to say hi to you real fast. Hello, thank you for watching. We got the Collector P in here as well. Mentioned Comic Journey earlier. There's another. Okay, just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I'm sorry. Keep talking in the chat, and we'll get to you.
Keep popping in and out.
Yeah. Speaking of Richard, he donated some Star Wars books. Speaking of Star Wars and Richard. So this is a run. I think it's the complete run of The Star Wars, which was kind of the George Lucas's original idea for Star Wars turned into a comic book format. So we got the entire run there, including starting with issue 0, going all the way up to issue 9, issue 8. What's that?
The Luke Starkiller.
Yes, yeah, Luke Starkiller. This is kind of the iconic cover I remember from that promo, but that's really cool. You'll be able to get a chance to bid on that. And then he sent in a couple key comic books as well. This, obviously, in a lot of people's mind ever since Deadpool and Wolverine.
That is very cool. That's a very generous donation for that. That's a hot book. Hot book.
Absolutely. One of my favorite covers. So from that whole chunk of that run. And then also this, I think it kind of feels timely too as well. First White Vision.
Yep.
A lot of Vision and Scarlet Witch related stuff in the MCU news. So a couple great books there. So thanks, Richard, for all those donations. Again, if you want to win any of those books, make sure you tune in on November 16th on this channel, Bronze Age Nerd, at 12 p.m. Pacific is our current start time. These other books that I'm going to show tonight come in from a combination, kind of a team effort between Headless Hammerhead, who you guys might remember. I used to do some content with him, sponsored by him when he had his shop. He had to close it down, unfortunately, but he's got a bunch of stuff here from Economics and Comics. So I'll show off the stuff that isn't signed first. This was a Piper Rudick cover, I want to say. Obviously, a great homage there to, was it Scanners?
Yeah.
Yeah. Phantom. So a nice little homage book there. That was an Economics and Comics exclusive. And then this is the Ivan Tao, who was a participant last year in Heroes for Heroes. This is his Speechless book from Economics and Comics. Speechless is a comic book that kind of gives the artist an interview book inside, and they get to create an original cover for it. It's a really cool book.
Cool.
And then this is Michael McCombs. This was issue 1 of Speechless. Those are all numbered, by the way. This one is 78 out of 100. So that's Michael McComb art. You may know him as Pool Boy, is this kind of his nickname. Kind of a, not really Joker, but kind of a female clown kind of figure. He's known for drawing very busty women. And he signed that too. Headless Hammerhead sent it to him, and we had him sign it. That signature is right there. And then this is what was this called? Was this called Lovesick? I can't remember what the name of the series was. That's his cover for that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and this is also signed by him there. And then this was probably his most famous cover with Economics and Comics, which was this 8 Billion Genies, I Dream of Genie.
Oh, wow.
Cover for issue 8.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then that is signed as well. That one's really hard to see. He apologized for the signature on that one. But it is in there and kind of like hiding in the wallpaper. My light, there you go. You can kind of see it there.
Camouflaged.
Yeah. And then so Headless Hammerhead sent him those books to sign. Those were all Headless Hammerhead's books. And then he did this completely separately. He just sent this in because he was like, well, I'm sending you some books anyway. I'll send you my Turtles cover he did.
Wow. I love that.
And he signed that as well, which is his exclusive for, I believe it was called Pharmaceutical Comics or Nerd Pharmaceutical Comics out of Canada, I think. So yeah, some really cool books that we're going to have for Heroes. So let's see what the chat's saying here.
Well, you got an important, awesome sauce up there. Yep, there you go.
If you want to donate some art to this, how does one go about doing that? So Awesome Sauce, hit me up for my address. And you can do that on Instagram. You could email me at thebronzeagenerd@gmail.com. You could hit me up on Facebook, Discord, anywhere that you think you can get connected with me. I'm pretty much Bronze Age Nerd everywhere except for like TikTok. So and Snapchat. What? I'm not on those two services.
Come on, man, get with the times.
Nothing about me says I'm with the times. I'm a nerd from the Bronze Age. I'm very much locked in time. And I appreciate Jay, by the way, for posting the link to the Heroes for Heroes fundraiser there. I very much appreciate that. Comic Trip says I exclusively collect fan art of Bronze Age Nerd and Bigby McFly in Yahoo stories. Oh no! What will you have for folks like me? I think our rates are negotiable, but Bigby has to draw it.
You gonna write it? I gotta draw it.
Yeah, there we. I don't know who's getting. Yeah, okay. I'll take that arrangement.
I think I have the more dramatic part of it.
Yeah, you only got to create one image. I got to create multiple in my head, so I don't know.
That's true.
But hey, Heroes for Heroes, like I said, we do have that draw along. I don't know, drink and draw kind of. I don't know what you would call that. Community sketch show coming up this weekend. Stay tuned for details. We have all those great books. If you haven't been paying attention, I have original artwork from Dan Parent, original artwork from David Mack, from Mark Bagley, Sean Chen, original art pages. I am probably forgetting like 4 or 5 off the top of my head. Some people that are still sending some stuff in that I'm waiting for. We have a first appearance of Harley Quinn, Batman Adventures. We have a whole bunch of key comics that are slabbed and Ross. We have some Silver Age. We have some Golden Age. We have all kinds of stuff. So definitely stay tuned for that. Oh boy. I'm going to try to go quick this year. So I've learned a lot of mistakes from last year, learned from a lot of the mistakes that happened in the last couple of years. So we're going to try to go quick. I'm going to take some cues from what Comics Curing Cancer did, have a timer. Yes, I have some prints signed by Jim Starlin as well. Thank you for that, Richard, and his new inking partner as well. And we have prints from Lee Weeks and all. There's so much. There's so much. I have some stuff that just came in from Aaron Bartling too. But yeah, hopefully it'll take. I mean, it'd be amazing. I have 3 camera batteries. They last for about 3 hours each. I would love to get it done in under 9 hours. Oh, Actual Dracula is in the chat. He might actually have some information about when we can see a piece of art from another artist, Chip Zdarsky, who's sending something in, thanks to the work that Actual Dracula did in helping network that, by the way. And good evening, Actual Dracula. How do you feel about your holiday being over for another year? Marcus coming in with the hotness here. Hey man, it's your guys' time to shine. Enjoy it while it lasts, because it won't last forever. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So much original art, so many comics, signed comics, key books. Richard's doing a good job of helping me remind me of some of this stuff. There's just so much stuff. All that November 16th. Let's support our veterans. Let's raise some money for a good cause. Our time doing charity fundraisers, unfortunately, is not over. I hate to keep asking for help from everybody in supporting these causes, but they still need our help. So let's see what we can do.
I just did another Instagram post for Jen today. So
yeah, I saw that.
We keep the focus on that too. That's not a need that's going away.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I wanted to say, you mentioned Carly. I finalized our little bit of to do with her today, so hopefully we'll see the fruits of our labor there.
Nice,
and we'll have something cool to talk about. And I want to take a second and you guys, this guy, he's working his butt off and persevering through all kinds of garbage and that you guys don't see behind the scenes, and he's amazing. So I just want to give a round of applause to you for what you're doing for this man.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I'm definitely not doing it alone. I've got support, not only from people like you, but a lot of people in the chat. And it's definitely, each year I've had more and more help, which has definitely helped a lot. Right. So that's definitely, I just seeing it grow is the best part. Like if we can see it grow year after year, it would be amazing. And I'm really hoping that we hit our goal this year.
Off this thing, man.
Who will the musical guest be? Oh, that's a great question.
Well, I will be serving some chili to bronze beforehand. So
My Google speaker decided to answer that question. I'm guessing Toad the Wet Sprocket is my guess, though, by the way. Well, the real heroes are absolutely the ones we're doing this for. Several of which I know regularly watch this channel. A lot of veterans in the community. I won't take forever to talk about this, but that's part of the reason I do this. There are so many veterans that are part of this community, whether it's through having actually been on the creator side. There's tons of creators that served, or just as fans or retailers or both. There's so many out there, and that's definitely who I do it for.
Like how many people we talked to, like at shows, that had friends or relatives or they themselves had served, and that they had stories that like would bring us to tears. So.
Okay, I don't know if somebody's doing one of those fun little accounts, or if that was Jay posting from our channel, maybe from the back. Let me know, Jay, if that was you. Otherwise, I might have a troll in the crowd, but I have a feeling it was you.
I didn't see what it was.
Oh, maybe it's it's still in there. Yeah. Hey, thanks for your service, Son of Crom. I really appreciate that. Absolutely. I know you messaged me privately. I don't ever disclose that kind of stuff if people don't talk about it publicly, but yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your service. But yeah, so I think we should probably move on with the show and talk about some of the other stuff in the news that's come out. Okay, cool. That is Jay. I just wanted to make sure that I was like, I don't remember typing that. Casual bug puns. I like that. So the first thing, do these open in reverse order? No, these just open in random order. Let me get to it. We had some stories we didn't get to last week. You know what? Let's start with this, because this is pretty unfortunate. And I want to. It's something that happened during Hurricane Milton. So this was Jimmy Palmiotti tweeted this out, and I just, this is just terrible. They went back. I think they escaped the hurricane path for a couple days. They went back to go to their place in Florida. Jimmy and Amanda Connor, if you don't know, they're a couple. But comics do not last long underwater. Thanks, Milton. And you can just kind of see all the comics from their place under the water there. That's just terrible. That's just awful. So I hate to see that. And Jimmy is a great Twitter follow, by the way. He always is posting really interesting stuff like original art or just great insights or replies with industry insider knowledge. So he's a great Twitter follow. I highly recommend following him. But that was terrible to see.
Yeah, that sucks. You gotta wonder, like I always wonder like that with the different natural disasters. Like that's a weird thought, but like how many collectibles were lost from that? Gone. Things that can never be replaced.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not doing it for time because I'm reading a funny comment here, but Awesome Sauce has an interesting donation proposal for us. Which I'm sure Comic Tropes is going to suggest that we are the ones that should wear the spider costumes and do that dance. That's my guess. But yeah, no. To get back to the topic, yeah, it's so many shops, so many collectors, so many businesses based out of Florida. Florida has a huge comics scene, so you really do have to wonder about all that. I know, like the Frazetta family. They moved all the artwork away from their art gallery in Florida, out of the region, basically because of hurricane season. And sure enough, Sarah posted that she went back to the gallery and it would have all been, destroyed or at least damaged. So it's terrible.
Well, everybody's piling in the room now.
Yeah, we got Lords of Brooklyn for life. Brooklyn for life in here. What's up? Comics Limited. Hello. And Hector Ortiz. Hello. That reminds me, by the way, because there's a couple prize winners in here, folks. There's a couple people waiting on prizes that have been waiting way too long. Bigby alluded to some personal stuff I'm dealing with. I also just kind of had a huge personal financial hit happen in my personal life. So I promise I'm going to work on all that stuff. I'm going to have to do like a quick claim sale or something like that to try to make up some money so I can ship out some of this stuff. But I do want to get that stuff out before the Heroes for Heroes shipping madness starts. Hey, we got Dan's X-Men Comics in the house. What's up, Dan? Yeah, Jimmy is an awesome dude. Amanda's, yeah, they're both great people. They're two people I'd love to talk to. But unfortunately, we have one other really negative piece of news, that's just unfortunate. This was older. Again, our Halloween show, we just kind of bumped a couple of these stories. I'm sure most people are aware of this, but Diamond Comic Distributors closed their Plattsburgh warehouse in New York, which it's been a while since I read this story, but I think there's one other warehouse they have open. I can't remember where it's at now. Scanning. Their Olive Branch, and what is that, Mississippi? No, Missouri. I'm forgetting my M states. But yeah, so they have one other distribution center that's going to remain open. I think the writing was kind of on the wall for this, probably for most people. Diamond has been through some stuff recently.
I used to get all my stuff from Plattsburgh when I had my shops. So
yeah. It's, I mean, again, I think, so it is Mississippi. Okay, there we go. Where the hell is everyone? Are you streaming off of YouTube too? Yeah, we're streaming the EXP streams through YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, lots of places. So
my channel and Bronze's channel as well.
Yep. So this is, I think, what can I really say about this? I know that there's a lot of stuff about, and you probably could say more about this with your experience with it, working with them as a retailer. Were your experiences with Diamond mostly positive, mostly negative, a little bit of both?
As a retailer, positive. I mean, they were pretty on it. I mean, most of the time, if there was a fault to be had, it was mine. If something happened that I didn't get you didn't get enough of something or whatever, there were screw ups here and there or damages that happened, but that just happens. But for the most part, Diamond was pretty reliable, and for the amount of stuff that they go through and have to pack and ship every week and try to get everything perfectly straight, I mean, they did a remarkable job.
Yeah, well, and when you were a retailer, there were other competitors too during that time, weren't there?
Most of them. So Diamond actually was getting sued for being a monopoly when I was first being a retailer. Yeah, so they just, you could still get the stuff through, the kitchen sink or whatever, the different the little mom and pop distributors that would do the little indie stuff, and so they're not a monopoly because you can still get. But people are like, you can't get Marvel, you can't get DC, you can't get Image, it's like, so.
Well, and by the way, commentary, hey, if people are watching on the EXP, we're actually super happy to see that too. We want people to kind of bounce around watching all the different streams if you want.
By the way, we should be doing that thing, talking about the EXP and all the different channels. Oh,
yes, we probably should be. Thanks for that reminder. Sorry, I just had a small person walking around back here, I think. It's okay, they live here.
Spirits.
Okay, so sorry, the person who left me a note, I think they a word, if you know what I mean. But starting off tomorrow on the EXP at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, Minute to Skim It. It's a show I've talked about before that I highly recommend watching over on the EXP. That one you can only watch on the EXP and their various different channels. But it's a great show. If you've ever been curious about some of the comic books that are coming out the following day for New Comic Book Day, and you've wondered, should I pick it up? Is it worth it? And you don't want to watch some big long review or some long some YouTubers haul review where they talk about all their books. That content is totally fine. But if you're looking for smaller capsule reviews, just basically somebody's first impression of like, is this worth reading or not? It's a great show for that. I highly recommend checking it out. It's actually one of the most enjoyable shows on the EXP, in my opinion. I actually get a lot of value out of it because it kind of reminds me what comic books I should or shouldn't be reading. So I definitely recommend checking that out. And our producer on the show, Jay, you can check him out over on that show, as well as my old co-host Kyle and Miss Jen from Space Cadet Comics over there as well.
Oh, wow.
Sad comic news. Manga creator, I'm going to totally mispronounce this, Kazui Umezo passed away at age 88, famous for horror manga before Junji Ito and much beloved. Well, that's terrible.
A documentary on him on YouTube on, is it Matt with 3 T's or whatever? He did a good little documentary about him.
Oh, that's terrible. I mean, I do appreciate you sharing that news with us, though. But yeah, that is very sad. Yeah, that's terrible. Unfortunately, it's been, I think, just one of those ever since 2020, for obvious reasons. There's been all kinds of deaths and passing away, and not just comics, but in all of our lives. Celebrities or musicians or actors or comedians or whatever. And it's just terrible to see it keep happening. It's, part of life, but still, that's terrible to hear.
He's very talented. That little documentary was amazing about and just the insight into the psychology behind his artwork and how he makes things more shocking was really interesting.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely check. You want to hit me up with the link in that, or we can post it up in there. By the way, I do have a Discord server. If you guys want to join it, there's actually going to be a reference to it later in the show, so I may as well mention it now. But that link is in the description below if you want to go check that out. And I don't know, maybe Bigby can post that documentary up there too for people to find later on.
Yeah, I'll put it in the video for sure.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, and I guess the reason I'm kind of forlorn about that is, part of what we're going to talk about tonight is losing another legendary creator with Greg Hildebrandt. And so it's just, gut punch after gut punch, really, unfortunately. Renegade says Jim Starlin was Navy. I actually didn't know that. We talked about that with him, and that never came up. We talked about at Washington State SummerCon, we talked to him about donating and talking about the cause and everything. He was very, very willing to do the prints and everything, which was awesome. But I didn't know that about him. That's good to know. He actually has kind of been in the news a little bit because of some events in the show. I guess I don't know what I can really say about it, but one of his characters came to screen recently. So I guess that's what I'll say.
He's wanting me to send you a new piece of art, but we already have our stuff for tonight, but I'll put it in the stuff for next.
Yeah. I actually, if you guys send, I usually show about 3 pieces of community art per submitter a week if they have multiples, but I have a library of them built up for anybody who's been sending in more, where I can pull them for the next show and then shows off. So definitely do that so we can see it for the next show.
There's some beautiful stuff that's going to be shown off. You guys are in for a treat.
Nice. Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so we talked about that story. Let's talk about some at least more neutral or, in my opinion, positive news. We got some Hollywood news to discuss real fast. And I guess it's not comic books, but I love Predator and stuff. So all the classic Dark Horse horror franchises, Predator and Aliens and all that. And I really, really, really liked Prey, the last Predator film.
Prey was amazing.
It was amazing. I really, really liked it. Best Predator film since 2, I think, easily. Some would say probably the best one since 1. Some people probably say it's the worst film they've ever seen. I don't know. People are different.
Hey, go Native Americans.
Yeah, no, and that was really cool because in the comics, especially the Dark Horse stuff, we always saw historical stories being told. I mean, that was a very common thing for them to do in the comics. And we hadn't really seen a ton of that in the movies, except for 2, when you kind of see some of the artifacts from different centuries that they show at the end. And a few other references here and there, of course. But it was actually cool to see Predators in a different time and a historical setting, and not Arnold Schwarzenegger and muscly guys with machine guns. So it was kind of neat to see a different take on it. And that was a badass movie. I actually need to rewatch it.
Didn't they give Danny Glover a flintlock in 2? At the end?
Yeah, like from
I was wondering. I was like,
1775
that
or
would have
something.
been so cool if that tied into the weapons from Prey.
It would have been neat. Yeah, that would have been cool. So I guess I should actually say what's happening here. So Predator Badlands is coming to theaters in the fall of next year. And this is a follow-up to the prequel Prey. If you were disappointed by the lack of a wide theatrical release for the Predator prequel Prey in 2022, you'll be happy to learn that Disney isn't making the same mistake twice. This is coming to theaters. It will be November 7th, 2025 release, according to this article from space.com. Very excited. Very excited. Get to the hot air balloon. Yeah, absolutely. Love it, Renegade. I'm excited. You know, I think there's Amber Midthunder. I think, nope, that's not Amber. That's way small on my screen. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's one of the scenes from Prey right there. So is this actually. But such a cool film. And I have a lot of hope for the follow-up here.
Yeah. If you haven't watched Prey, get out there and watch it. It's good.
Yeah. Especially since it's also Dan Trachtenberg who did the direct and co-write the first one. He's doing this one as well too, so that gives me some hope for some continuity and in feel there at least. Very cool film. Let's tackle this one next because this is kind of along similar Hollywood lines before we get to the Sony stuff that we're going to talk about. So this is one you sent me today, Bigby. Marina Baccarin is ready to finally become Copycat in the MCU, which has always been one of those funny things to me because her character, they have the right first name, the right name and everything, but
right.
Really there's not much else there besides it being, in a Deadpool film, right? There's not a whole lot of commonality there. But she's like, hey, let's make her Copycat. Let's do it.
All right.
She says she's not getting any younger. She says she's not getting any skinnier. I've only been waiting for like 5 years, she joked. She says now's the time. This isn't like this thing where there's any kind of confirmation that she is going to become Copycat, but her eagerness to play the character. By the way, I think it's been long enough that we can kind of discuss Deadpool and Wolverine without any kind of, warning here, right?
Spoil some things, yeah.
I don't think it's really a spoiler. This is something that didn't happen in the film. I thought it would have been cool if like halfway through that film that she showed up and you kind of learned that she was the one pulling the strings. Like she was almost maybe kind of the villain of the series. I thought that would have been kind of neat, but I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Or at least a variant of her.
Right, exactly. Like, so, something like, I just thought it would have been cool to have her involved in some way. She's been important in the movies, but she's barely in the second or third. She at least her, you could kind of make the argument that she was kind of fridged in the second one, but at least she was pivotal to the point of the second film.
Yeah.
I've only seen it like 20 times, so no spoilers.
Yeah,
she is a gorgeous woman. Absolutely. That's very true.
Arguments here.
These articles kept sharing images of blue ladies that were not Copycat. That's funny. I mean, maybe it was. I don't know. Just saying. Maybe she's just pretending. This Predator sneaks into a lot of girls' restrooms. In Blade's spot. That's hilarious. She just came in. She's part of the team at the end. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see her finally get her due. Like I think she's earned it in those movies. Gosh, even if it was just a throwaway line or like a throwaway scene in like the next Deadpool thing, which by the way, I guess we could talk about that a little bit. You were talking about a video that you'd watched that was kind of talking about how there's probably some kind of Christmas related Deadpool thing happening, which I have my own suspicions on what that is. But what do you think's going on with that? What do you want to tell people what happened with that?
I think that there's going to be there's a special edition that's going to have a bunch of extra footage that we didn't see they're gonna get their extra, they're gonna get a third and fourth and fifth showing from all of us.
Yeah.
So
21st in Jay's case.
right. But yeah, I think we've heard lots of rumors of extended scenes with Henry Cavill and the Hulk fight with Wolverine extended scene. So
yeah.
I'm wondering if are they gonna throw back in the scenes of She-Hulk that got cut out?
I don't know. That's a charged one. Yeah, that'd be interesting. No, but I'm with you. Like that was my thought process as well here. So what happened, I think the first thing that came out about it was Ryan Reynolds shared a behind the scenes photo of him in the costume from the neck down with just regular Ryan Reynolds head. Not nice pool, just like, just regular Ryan Reynolds. With the actress, and I forget her name, the actress that plays Blind Al, on like a set that had some obvious Christmas decorations in the background.
Right.
And if you don't remember, Once Upon a Deadpool was kind of the film that came out that was a PG-13 cut of Deadpool 2. But originally, Once Upon a Deadpool was supposed to be a whole Deadpool movie where Deadpool saves Christmas. And that was kind of the plot that they wanted to go with, kind of like a planes, trains, and automobiles kind of a take on it, where I think he travels across the country with the cab driver, Mohinder? Am I getting that right?
Dopinder.
Dopinder.
Yep.
Mohinder's from Heroes. But yeah, so trying to travel across the country to save Christmas and eventually try to get to the North Pole. That was the plot of that movie, apparently. And it became Once Upon a Deadpool, just like the Princess Bride version of Deadpool 2, which, those movies were so close to begin with anyway, right?
With Fred Savage in the bed there, the adult Fred Savage in the bed.
Yeah, Leslie Uggams. Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Oops, all outtakes that weren't funny enough edition. I have a feeling that their outtakes are probably a little better than average, but yeah,
probably
maybe
more spicy than not funny.
Yeah. Nickelback? I want to say I get it, but I don't. I mean, so I missed something. I'm sorry. I bet it's funny. The 4 hour, it's like the extended edition from like Lord of the Rings. That'd be great. Awesome sauce. There's some Deadpool stuff going on. Of course, that movie, that franchise now has made a couple $1 billion on its own. So they have to follow it up.
But yeah, there is the possibility that they're just going to do a PG-13 cut, like you're saying, for Christmas. So who knows?
How dare you, Jay? How dare you sneak a Nickelback lyric into my chat? Oh, they sing. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, right.
Sorry. I've forgotten just about everything about that movie except for the setup, basically, is what I was trying to say. I do want to kind of move things. We have a lot of stuff to talk about with our two main stories, so I want to kind of go through this a little bit quicker. Sure. I'm going to let you talk about this because here's the deal. I don't want to spoil Agatha All Along for anybody. You shared this article, and I haven't seen the final episode, I think.
Oh, I spoiled something for you.
No, I did. I actually stopped reading this article. But do you think you can handle it in a non-spoiler way for people that aren't caught up yet?
There is a character in Agatha All Along that is related to Johnny Blaze.
Okay.
And so they're slyly sneaking in hints that Johnny Blaze is on his way. That's what I'll leave it at.
I know that there's a debate, and I saw the words Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this article when I skimmed it, when I was like, oh, okay. But I know that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had a version of Ghost Rider in it.
So this article saying we're due the real Ghost Rider, not just the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. version. Yeah.
So again, you shared it, so I figured I'd let you tackle it. But
I don't want to spoil anything. But there is a character in. Read that article after you watch the last episode of Agatha All Along. which, by the way, I enjoyed the show. I have notes later on when we're able to talk about it.
Maybe we'll do like a bonus spoiler part on the next episode or something like that. This, though, I do think we can talk about. I'm going to kind of quickly move on from that. This is on Marvel's website.
Yes.
So straight from them, and this is really cool. It's not a spoiler for Agatha All Along just to see this cover, because this is a cover. This is Scarlet Witch 7, and it's not a photo cover, is it? It is drawn. I think that's drawn.
No, it's a concept.
Russell Dodderman, that's who drew the cover. Okay. I hate this stupid Black Friday ad. But that's a cool cover.
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza's character from
like, hey, can you get me a copy or two of that?
Yeah. That's on sale December 11th. Cover by Russell Dodderman, Marvel Studios variant cover featuring Agatha All Along concept art by Imogen Chayas. Oh, I'm sorry. So Imogen Chayas was the artist there. I guess Dodderman does the regular cover. Dodderman does a regular cover. Okay, that's what's going on. Okay, sorry for the confusion there. Anyways, the point is, cool cover for something that just came out. I mean, that's going to be a book that I think a lot of people are going to be interested in.
If you guys haven't watched Agatha, it's going to have some kind of important ramifications to things. So
even from where I'm at in the show, I can say 100% that's true.
Yeah.
Like I think I called one thing that I'm pretty sure happens in this show. But yeah, I can't really talk about it until everybody's on the same page.
Yeah,
but
we can't talk about a lot of it, but it's a really entertaining show. I think a lot of people sold it short before it came out, and it's pretty good.
I do want to, again, just kind of move quickly through this so we can talk about our main two stories. So I'll bring up this other article you shared today, and I know Comic Tropes talked about this on his show, the Weekly Spinner Rack, which you can check out over on his Pros and Cons channel every Monday night. Great show. I highly recommend checking it out. But you shared this with me, which is that a character who's been appearing in the Ultimate X-Men by Peach Momoko, which had some pretty clear connections to Cyclops. For example, I think their name translates to Born in Summer, stuff like that, which I'd kind of noticed from people trying to figure out who's who in the Ultimate stuff. But it's basically confirmed now that this character is Cyclops, the Ultimate version of Cyclops. Which, was pretty obvious with the color scheme, the eye patch, all that stuff, but still cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
And then I don't think we've talked about it much on the show, but I know the Ultimate version of Wolverine, we briefly mentioned it, I think, is coming to the Ultimate Universe. There's also a different version of Nick Fury that's coming. So a lot of fun stuff going on in the Ultimate Universe. Use this as kind of a springboard to say that there's a lot of stuff going on in Absolute Comics. Those comics have been extremely popular. I see Ultimate as kind of the other side of the magnetic pole from the Absolute and Ultimate stuff, is kind of like sharing that space for each publisher with kind of a new direction for some of their characters in kind of a pocket universe. So that's very cool.
Yeah. Did you land a copy of Wonder Woman yet?
I have a couple copies coming. I got the A cover and the Jim Lee cover that I really wanted, coming from Third Eye Comics, which I did post the link for that in our Discord. Well, you put on a great show. You cover a lot of great stuff. I love watching it whenever I can. The only problem is, and I've said this before, it's extremely difficult for me to watch during that time slot. So I do have to watch on the rewind usually, but I do love that show. So thank you for putting it on. But yeah, I do have copies of that coming. The only one I think I have to get now is Ultimate Absolute Superman. But I have Batman coming. I have Wonder Woman coming, and yeah, I'm just collecting the number ones physically, but I'll probably read them all digitally like I usually do.
So did Third Eye still have copies available?
I don't know about. They did when I ordered after last week's show. Lisa was nice enough to drop the link for that for me, and then I dropped it in our Discord. Great question. I don't know if they still have copies, but I know A few people in my Discord were offering up copies to people that were in need because they'd bought a couple. So it's another reason to hang around in there. If you're looking for stuff like that, they might be able to help you out. Can try to see if I have that link still. I'll see if they still have it available. But yeah, here's another thing I did talk about. This isn't really a haul show, but I briefly mentioned that I was really looking for this Transformers Bumblebee car. And so I actually found the seller on eBay that had a lot that was reasonably priced, and it was 2 of them. So I got to give one to my daughter so she could open it up, and then I just keep one in the package. But the coolest thing about it, I don't know how well this will show up on camera, is it does have, is that going to focus? Bumblebee's face.
Oh, there he is. That's cool.
So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, I gave one to my daughter, and she's been playing around with it. She loves Bumblebee, and we just watched the Transformers 1 movie. So now I'm looking for the Gold Bug. There's a Gold Bug chase variant, and I had a gold Volkswagen Bug. That was my first car. So that's kind of my next mission. But hey, at least I got that one. So yeah, that's probably a very good comparison, Jay. Absolute to me is like the ultimate universe for DC. Like Elseworlds is What If. Yeah, they're not like a 1-to-1, but I feel like they're both kind of trying to do something a little different. Yeah. When do you think? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
The trailer for What If, the new season.
I haven't seen that.
Ooh, it looks good.
Nice. We're actually watching the What Ifs as a family because we're kind of in that point in the timeline order for all the MCU stuff.
I think when you watch the last episode of Agatha, the ad before the last episode it's got trailer for Daredevil, for What If, and for something. It's a bunch of the new shows coming up.
Oh, you know what? Somebody did post the trailer for that in my Discord server. I never clicked on it. Somehow I was busy when it came through or whatever. But I'll go watch that. That's cool. So Awesome Sauce.
Man is on there also.
Oh, nice. Awesome Sauce says, when do you think we'll be getting a Young Adventure movie or show? I think we have all the key players now. Young Adventure
movie.
Oh, do you mean Young Avengers? Awesome Sauce? I believe he's using speech to text. So that's actually funny.
Yeah, we have almost all the key players now.
It's hilarious, by the way, because Comic Tropes talked about this on his show earlier. So we don't have Patriot.
We do, actually. They showed
was he in Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, he's the grandson of
right. Duh, of course. As soon as I saw the look on your face, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, so we have Patriot. I don't want to spoil anything for Agatha, so I can't say anything else.
Well, we definitely have Stature. We have Kate Bishop, Hawkeye. And I know on Comic Tropes, I was in the chat talking about it. There's all these characters that could be part of the Young Avengers, even though they're not part of like the canonical comic book team. But like, I said, Moon Girl could easily be in there. Miss Marvel, somebody said Ironheart. Those are characters that could easily be part of a Young Avengers team, even though they're not part of the actual comic book version of the team.
I loved, I would spoil Young Avengers if you haven't read Young Avengers yet, but Iron Lad, I love the idea of Kang that doesn't want to be Kang, trying to be a hero. It's like, I don't want to be a villain. I want to be a hero. It's like,
that's a really good point.
It's pretty cool.
That's a really good point. Sir Farts a bunch. Yeah, probably the most important character.
Like Phoenix level powers.
Oh yeah. But just not. You don't want to get the two in the same room together, if you know what I'm saying. No worries. Comics Limited. So let's see. What was I going to say here? We covered that story. I think we can move on The $1,000,000 question after I take a second to talk about another show happening on the EXP. Folks, if you're not familiar, we are streaming on the EXP as well. It's a great channel, and I'm happy to be part of. I know Bigby's happy to be part of it as well.
For sure.
Lots of great content. First thing I ever watched on there ever was Nick Barucci's original art experience on Fridays. Nick Barucci from Dynamite and Dynamic Forces fame, and he has an extensive art collection and collects stuff just to sell on that show. And it is a fantastic show if you're into original art. But there's all kinds of great stuff. Another show that comes on tomorrow night is James over at Mint Hunter Comics runs a awesome claim sale that happens at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. He's usually has like, tonight's my $50 and under sale, or tonight's my, big DC keys or Green Lantern books or something like that. Usually themes it out. He's definitely got an extensive collection. He's pretty much shifted to full-time buying and selling. He still does his YouTube videos too, of course, but that's been a huge focus of what he does. So I highly recommend checking out that show over on the EXP as well.
Yes,
and then Jay had a good point too, which is that after our push last week and some other combined efforts of other key players over at the EXP, they did cross over the 3,000 subscriber list over there, and they are unlocking some new content. Stay tuned for announcements on that, because that actually did happen. So that will be coming soon.
Yeah, I wanted to say thanks to everybody who's listening to what we're saying. We really appreciate it. We had great viewership on all 3 of our channels for the last show. So thank you guys a lot.
I definitely appreciated that quite a bit. Do you believe the rumor that DC Comics bought the rights to Sweet Secrets to compete with Transformers? Chris, I don't know if you're trolling me or what. I don't know what Sweet Secrets are. I'm going to Google that. Maybe I'll regret that. Not sharing my screen as I do it. That's for darn sure. There's a bakery called Sweet Secrets that comes up right away. So yeah, I don't know. Was that? Oh, were these little?
They transform.
Yeah, little toys that transform. Okay, interesting.
Interesting.
Could be.
From jewels to dolls. There we go.
Wow, from jewels to dolls. That's cool. I like that. I'm sure my daughter would love that. I spend a lot of time looking at toys aimed at that demographic these days. That's cool.
Yeah. I
didn't know that.
Did they actually buy the line? Probably not. He's trolling us.
Could be. Well, I bet you there's some nugget of truth to this, Mr. McNugget over here. Supposedly they paid Galoob $16 million. Okay.
Wow.
Trying to see if I can see a news article to bring up about that. That definitely is Sweet Secrets, exploring novel glycans and glyconojugates in the extracellular polymeric substances of Canadatus aculambac. That's some scientific article that I can't read. So, yeah, I wasn't able to surface an article about that. But yeah, there we go.
I did I watched Transformers 1 just recently. I liked the one character dissed another character by calling them a GoBot.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Jay just unlocked a dark chamber of my memories about the transforming McDonald's Happy Meal toys. Yeah, the Big Mac and the fries and everything. He's level 50. That's so cute. He's like level 100. He's so high level. He fooled you into thinking he's a lower level. So I don't know what we should talk about first. Should we talk about our main event topic, or should we talk about the art of Mr. Hildebrandt first? What do you think, Bigby? I'll leave it up to you.
I'm gonna have more fun talking about the art of Hildebrandt, but I mean, we can let the chat decide. How about the chat decide?
Chat, what do you want us to talk about first? You decide.
Or you want to talk about Sony?
Remember when GoBots thought their big new thing would be Rock Lords? They transformed into a rock. Yeah, which seems like something from the plot of Big. When he had the building that transforms. They're making that into a toy, by the way. That's pretty great. Okay, One vote, and then 2 votes for Sony. So next person to say something probably will win unless they say Greg.
Broke the Love it.
Okay, we got 3 votes for Sony. By the way, Damien, I'm so sorry. I didn't say hello to you earlier. Thanks for joining the show, Damien. I appreciate you being here. Which you just reminded me there's something I need to send you because you offered to help promote something, and I didn't send that to you. So I'll try to get that done tonight. Okay, let me open up. Now, Bigby did an awesome job compiling this list of this slideshow, I guess we'll call it, of awesome Greg Hildebrandt art. So as
Sony first, though, right? Everybody asked for Sony.
My mind just melted for a second. You're 100% correct.
Wait, you asked for Sony. We're going the opposite direction.
That's how it works, right? So I'll use this article to start talking about our Sony topic. This comes to us from comicbook.com. They say, what the Venom 3 box office means for the future of Sony's Spider-Man universe. Yeah, that's the only election joke I'll allow, Richard, but that is perfectly done. Laser accurate, Richard.
Spot on.
Yeah. So basically, for those that aren't familiar, Venom 3, The Last Dance just came out. Let me get some water here. And it didn't have we've had some terrible box office comic debuts. This wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. They say Sony may have bitten off more than it can chew when it comes to the live action Spider-Verse. Even the first Venom sank its teeth into $856 million at the global box office, which, that's fairly impressive. So they developed a slate of spinoffs, including Spider-Man villains Morbius, Kraven the Hunter, Silver Sable, plans for Black Cat, Jackpot, Silk, Nightwatch, even lesser-known character with a dozen appearances in Spider-Man. Nightwatch, a lesser-known character with a dozen appearances in Spider-Man comic books. They don't mention El Muerto, which was a planned movie from Bad Bunny.
Paragraph down.
Yeah. Okay. So all kinds of fun stuff going on with these films, right? But The Last Dance opened to a franchise low $51 million at the box office this weekend. Still better than Joker 2, which had a $37.6 million opening weekend, but worse than Black Adam, the Rock movie, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So that's all I really need to read from this article is kind of the box office numbers. Right. So what are your thoughts on, first of all, we've both seen the movie, right? You ended up finishing it.
I did. Okay.
We won't spoil it. Cause at least not in anything that's, plot relevant to that movie. There are some things that maybe have some larger implications for Sony stuff that were talked about in previous Venom films that may have also had some carryover with this film. And that's all I'll say, really. But Silver Sable was on that list. I kind of ham-fistedly read that, but yeah. El
Muerto was effectively dead. They're not going to do it.
Yeah. I actually didn't know they were going to do a Jackpot movie. That was the one that was news to me. But yeah, they're basically doing every character but Spider-Man. So, but let's talk about Venom 3 for a second. Did you like any of the Venom movies?
The first one was all right. The second one was less all right. The third one, I don't know how you felt about it, but I was left. I found it lacking. It was a pile of. I would say it was a hot steaming pile. It didn't know where it was going. It was all over the place.
Oh, really? Okay.
I didn't like.
Because for me, that was the second one.
Yeah.
The third one, I will say that to me, the third one felt like, why did we make this? Like, what was the point of making this film?
We have Tom Hardy for one more movie, and we better get it out of the way. That was it. You know. So.
Yeah, it just felt like, I won't get into the villain and I won't get into all that. Like, don't worry. There are cameo appearances. They're probably not as exciting as you'd hoped. I guess that's what I'll say. It's just one of those things where I think people expected more. And then as far as, and this, I'll try to be as vague as I can here, but as far as like setting up future stuff, it both made it seem like there's just going to be more films in the future, and yet there aren't. So it kind of left the door open there. I will say that's pretty ambiguous, much like the film, but it just wasn't good. It wasn't terrible. Like, I thought the second one was terrible, and I really wanted to see like Woody Harrelson as Carnage. I thought that'd be fun. It wasn't. This movie, there's just no point to it. There's no ultimate,
that's what I mean. It just was. Somebody reviewed it and they said, if you like Venom, you're going to be disappointed. If you like symbiotes, you're going to be happy.
Yeah, and I'd say if you like, I guess, to Jay's point here, he loves the character. And yeah, Andy Serkis directing, I expected more. I think my expectations weren't too high after number 2, but I was still underwhelmed. Sleepy Reader says, I kind of feel like a break from Marvel and DC movies would ultimately make them come back stronger. And I'm inclined to agree with that. I think just what the point of the conversation that we're mostly going to have about this, though, it kind of is not just about Venom, but the point being that Venom was their thing. That was the one thing they had going for them, at least in terms of popularity. People loved the first Venom film. I thought it was okay. Like, it was kind of a guilty pleasure film of mine. Like, it was dumb, but I thought it was fun. Right. The second 2 Venom films, though, like, I don't know why we're making them. When it comes to Madam Web, when it comes to I haven't even seen Morbius yet. I've never watched it. I know I'm
bad as everyone says it is,
oh,
but it's still pretty bad.
I keep meaning to open up my Discord so we can all like kind of watch it together on there. But I just haven't found a good time for that yet. I like watching bad superhero movies sometimes that are very bad.
Kamehameha bats.
But those are like the good films in this universe. Maybe Craven comes out and it's the most fantastic movie of all time.
Craven looks pretty good out of all of the stuff.
The second trailer looks good. The first trailer looked like hot garbage.
Right. Yeah. So
maybe they just, I think they may have just gotten better at editing trailers.
About Venom, like, I've never thought that was the real Venom, though, because he doesn't have the spider logo. He doesn't have the, it's like, that's not the real Venom. The time I got excited about Venom was the end of No Way Home, where we had the cameo. I was like, oh my God, yes. And then it's like,
nothing happens yet. I mean, they could pay that off. But yeah, that kind of goes to the greater point here, which is, and I guess, this is where we should probably mention, there are plans because we have Craven coming out. And then there's also, I think just today, I'm pretty sure there's still rumors, but they seem to be like strongly confirmed rumors that we're going to get an Agent Venom film, which might be the next Venom project. Maybe, I don't know. It might take the place of what Venom 4 could have been with Tom Hardy. Maybe I don't know, but it seriously feels like Sony is just doing this because they can.
No, they want to hang on to that contract that they have.
Exactly, and it feels like it feels like when oh, why am I blanking on his name right now? The person that had the Marvel rights for like the Fantastic Four and Captain America. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. He made like what?
Roger Corman?
Yes. Like, he made those movies basically to retain the rights to them, as I understand it, at least. And then he didn't have to release them; he just had to make them, and so that's kind of what he did, right? At least for Fantastic Four. It feels a little bit like Sony's kind of just doing that, and they're like, "Well, some of these will be successful, some of them won't." But we still have to keep making them. But they're just terrible. They're not. You're not building a universe. There's rumors they're going to do a Sinister Six movie.
I heard that the Sinister Six versus Null.
Well, I've heard two separate. I've heard the Sinister Six movie is happening, and then after Venom 3, which Null's in one of the trailers, so I don't think that's a big thing to say. I won't talk about his role in that film really, but he's in one of the trailers. But then yeah, Sinister Six versus Null, which like makes even less sense. But to do a Sinister Six movie without Spider-Man, like maybe if you had Venom in place of Spider-Man, maybe. It just doesn't make any sense. And then they keep teasing this like integration with like Vulture or the stuff in No Way Home, like you were talking about. Like there's been some crossover there, but they're not paying off any of it. If they are, it's a real slow burn. I just don't get what they're doing here. And it's really kind of driving me nuts because it's sort of like Sleepy Reader's comment here. I feel like if they took a break from Marvel and DC movies, it would ultimately make them come back stronger. Superhero fatigue is real. And by Sony putting out these films and them not being a very good product, according to most moviegoers, critics, or fans, they are weakening the kind of overall product of what comic book movies could be right now, in my opinion. So that's kind of where I'm at with this.
We're on that break right now. We're on that break because, like,
for Marvel,
Wolverine is what we're getting for MCU stuff, right? For a while. Yeah. So like we are on that break, but unfortunately, we're getting the Sony stuff getting scooched out there. Mm-hmm. Like, right.
I think with Marvel, it doesn't feel as much like that because like Agatha all along, right? Granted, that's on the small screen, but on streaming, but it's happening right now, or just happened or whatever.
Yeah, but at least it was good.
Yeah. But it doesn't feel like much of a break when you have projects that are still, kind of coming out, right?
Yeah, but it's not a movie, a theatrical. I get what you're saying. You still got content coming out. Yeah. But I don't think they're not gonna ever stop putting out that brand stuff. We're gonna always get something slid out in front of us on the small screen, at least. Yeah. Keep us enticed.
Yeah, but I do think a full break, like to Damien's point, would probably be better. Right. It's just with the Sony stuff, it's like if you look at the characters that they seem to have access to, which I don't even know the definitive list. Like it's kind of confusing as far as to me as to what rights they seem to have access to. It's basically any Spider character except for Peter or Miles, maybe, is kind of what it seems like for the live action stuff. Obviously they can do like the Spider-Verse films, which are, by the way, it's worth pointing out, are fantastic. Like those are great.
Those are great.
So I don't want to, I don't want to completely poo-poo on what Sony's doing completely, because the animated stuff is really great, but the live action stuff is just, I don't know. Like Madam Web, I will go on record saying it wasn't as bad to me as it was to most people, but it wasn't good, like by any stretch of the imagination. It was just like a really meh movie. Like it felt a lot like this movie, honestly, Venom 3. But I don't get what the point is. I don't get what they're doing here other than just making these movies. I don't understand, like how, in terms of how you save it, turn one of these characters into a hero and make them your Spider-Man. Maybe that'd be Craven.
If they don't have the rights to Miles or Peter, they need to make a new Spider-Man that's their own original creation, right? I mean,
yeah. Or I mean, if they obviously could use Julia Carpenter, and they had Sydney Sweeney play her. I mean, I'm not saying but this isn't what I would do, but clearly they can do something like that. Like maybe they could do a Jessica Drew, or maybe they could do I personally wouldn't be a huge fan of her like being the hero of that entire franchise or whatever, but maybe they could do Sydney Sweeney, or they could have made Tom Hardy Venom is the anti-hero, I guess. You can make that work for sure, I think. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot they could have done.
Yeah, Cindy Moon. Yep, 100. There's so many Spider characters. Which ones they seem to have access to is a lot of them.
It just doesn't make sense to be separating those characters from Spider-Man when they're so tied together, it
yeah.
kind of breaks my heart that they're disjointing everything that way. And to what Jay said, like the whole thing about like, well, Ultron, if Hank didn't create him, but Venom is so entwined with Spider-Man and his makeup. The reason the symbiote is the way it is because it shared those thought patterns with Peter at the very beginning, and it's inclined to protect the innocent and to be a hero because of Peter. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to be said for that. Like, I can get behind the idea that, oh, it's weird and we don't have the rights to Peter or Miles, so we make Venom our hero. Okay, fine. I can get behind that as long as it's done well. I don't necessarily think this version of Venom is going to be that. And I certainly don't think he's coming back to do all those kinds of films that would require for it to be, the hero in any of these like Avengers level team up movies like a Sinister Six would be if he was going to be the character they face off against. But out of the options they have, that's the one that makes the most sense to me, is all I'm saying.
Right.
The Sinister Six versus Null? Are you kidding me? The Sinister Six versus...
I don't want to spoil anything, but watching the movie, they couldn't even deal with low-level stuff.
Yeah. Well, if you there is stuff in this movie that if you aren't aware of the symbiote history and the characters intimately, like let's say you're just a casual audience, you're gonna have no idea who some of these people are. Right. I'll say that. But what I was gonna say is, with this Agent Venom rumor, Agent Venom rumor, I guess maybe you could make Agent Venom. That would be a really weird take on like doing that as your hero against like a Sinister Six or like a version of Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. But there has to be, to me, like some character like it, because Null just doesn't make any sense unless you make the Sinister Six like the Suicide Squad good guys.
Agent Venom, I will say I thought that they were setting that up at one point during the movie. Yeah. There's a scene, I'm like, oh, if you know the story in Spider-Man with Flash Thompson and stuff, there's a scene where I'm like, oh, they're setting up Agent Venom. And then it's like, nope.
Yeah, there's a few things in that movie that are kind of interesting from like a high level point of view. And it's probably frustrating to people that have seen the movie because they know what we're talking about and they just want us to talk about it. And people that haven't seen the movie because they're like, oh, don't spoil it. So we'll kind of stop with that, I guess. But
right, I'm just saying it did seem like they were setting up Agent Venom, though.
But I mean, let's see. So Sony technically has shown or can do Morbius, Craven. Rhino's obviously going to be in the Craven film because he's in the trailer. They've had Vulture seemingly crossover. I don't know what that would end up being, though, in the final version. Venom, all the Venom symbiotes you can think of. The Madam Web characters we saw.
Lizard.
Yeah.
You got.
There's not even like a good Sinister Six lineup in there.
We don't have Mysterio anymore, right? So you don't have Mysterio. You don't have.
Yeah. They maybe they have Doc Ock, maybe kind of. I don't know.
So they've lost completely all rights to Spider-Man. Is that how it plays out?
It's good. This is where I'm saying it's confusing. Here's my understanding of it, and I could be wrong. If Sony uses a Spider character, from my understanding of it, then the Marvel MCU can't use it. Peter, I don't know about Miles, but Peter Parker Spider-Man is, as long as Marvel keeps that contract with Sony, he appears in the live action MCU films. The other characters, all those other characters we talked about pretty much, as long as Sony uses those characters or has a plan to use those characters and puts out a live action film within it, I don't think Marvel can use it unless they hammer out an additional agreement for those characters. But what that does, if that's, again, and that's assuming that's true, that's just my understanding. The other thing that does is it kind of dilutes what you can do in the MCU for Spider-Man because you're taking some of these characters away from him.
That's what I'm saying. It breaks my heart. They're disjoining all of the.
Yeah. So I guess we don't really have any answers here other than it's frustrating. Like I think what everybody wants to see that's fans of all these characters is I don't know, at least I'm speaking for myself, I guess. I would love to see like Venom and stuff cross over to the MCU because we've already had some of these characters. You could kind of pick and choose which ones that could make a leap over maybe. But we know that through the multiverse and all that stuff that's possible.
Yeah, like I said, at the end of No Way Home, I was like, yes. And this is like, oh.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think it's fair to say both franchise, I'm trying to word this carefully. Both franchises have gave hints that something like that would be possible, but neither has really done anything with that. So
I love that scene where Venom was like, that guy. When he sees Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah.
It feels more like an Easter egg though, in retrospect, like than anything else.
Right.
But I don't want to spoil anything for this movie because there's nothing major in it, but there is one thing that, is pretty clear as far as the connection goes. So it's just frustrating. And it's just unfortunate, I guess. So I wanted to kind of make this comparison because it's like if you took the Batman Rogues Gallery and you said, we're going to do all these Batman villains, but no Batman. And it's kind of funny though, if you think about it, because in a way, like the Joker was a standalone movie without Batman, and they kind of did, and that was actually good. Second one, I haven't seen it yet, but a lot of people obviously didn't like it. But then you've had shows where it's like Gotham, where yes, you have Bruce Wayne, but you don't really have Batman, and they told a lot of story with a lot of villains. So it is possible to do good versions of this type of story, but right stuff just makes it weird.
I just sent you a message in private chat.
Yeah, and that is true. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Hey, Awesome Sauce, have a great night. Thanks for watching while you could. Yeah, don't forget to sub up to the other channels we talked about where the stream happened, and maybe finish watching the stream on one of those if you're watching on another one. I don't know. I guess there's really not much else to say. Do you have any other thoughts about this other than just us both clearly being frustrated with the state of it?
Frustration, yeah. And like, I expected so much better. I hope, like, the one thing that really bugs me about the Venom character is that just that swirly, no cohesive logo or anything, no like symbol. If he's Agent Venom, give him some sort of like a Agent Venom symbol thing with something.
It's extremely frustrating.
Right.
So that's the one thing I did like, the way that Sweeney's costume looked in Madam Web for Spider-Woman.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Some of the characters that they had for Madam Web, I thought, like, when they showed them in the future, I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. I say all of them. I think the like you said, the hero versions or whatever looked great. So there is that. I obviously, like Morbius was a joke of a film. Like it's, like you said, it's probably not that bad, and I believe that actually. But it's just got turned into a meme by trying to make it PG-13 to begin with. So there's that. Try make a vampire movie that's PG-13. With no blood. It's like, all right.
Yeah. Madam Web was a joke of a film. El Muerto got canceled. There's just been, like, Craven, the first trailer, people hated it. The second, and I'm one of them. The second trailer definitely looked a lot better. There's just been a lot of, like, what are we getting out of this? It's good. Nothing so far. Venom 1. And that's debatable.
Yeah, well, that was the meme that they just had a little bit ago, was the Madam Web beat Joker.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're right. Sydney Sweeney is going to be in Barbarella. I do remember that as well. Good point, Jay.
Sydney Sweeney and everything. that's the cure for everything.
And I always make the joke that she gets cast in like pretty much everything.
The resemblance is uncanny.
I will say, as a comedic actress, like I really liked that Anyone But You movie. She was really good in that.
It was great. I love that movie.
Yep. And I never watched Euphoria, but I've heard she's good in that. But speaking of Sydney Sweeney and characters that she's been attached to, let's talk about some Greg Hildebrandt art. This is one of my favorite. I mean, so we gotta talk. So I'm not super familiar with the life and times of Greg Hildebrandt, other than I know he did a lot of artwork with his brother Tim, and he was a massive force in fantasy film, everything from Magic to Star Wars poster art. Obviously, a lot of Marvel artwork, including some DC artwork as well. Tons and tons and tons of great artwork. All I know is I have loved Hildebrandt art pretty much my whole life. And for those that don't know, I'm sure pretty much everybody does now. It's happened a little while ago. Greg passed away. It was very sad. They were seeing some sad updates come through about his medical condition, and there was like one positive update, and then everything kind of turned south again, and unfortunately he passed away. So we lost Greg Hildebrandt. It's terrible to see that. He's just such a when we go through this artwork, I guarantee if there's not one thing you like in this slideshow, I don't know what to tell you, because there's something for everybody in here. But good job to Bigby for putting together this great slideshow of some artwork. We're going to kind of go through it. Stop me if I go too fast. But this Black Cat, there was a bunch of Marvel Masterpiece covers that came out on comic books as variants the last few years, and I picked up the comic book of this because I love that artwork. I also got the Spider-Woman, the Julia Carpenter version of Spider-Woman, one he did. That was a great cover as well. It was originally for the trading card, but still very cool. Was this on an ad in like comic books forever? I feel like it was. For like Dungeons and Dragons or something.
Dragonlance ad.
That's what it was.
Yeah. But I gotta say, like, his use of lighting and like flame and everything else is always just impeccable. It's just amazing.
Yeah, he's a master. Good point, Richard. Yes, they're all my favorite. This was cool.
Yeah.
So that was like a remark he did on a poster from Baltimore Comic Con. It looks like.
Yep.
That's cool. That'd be amazing. I was posting. There's still some.
I think I grabbed that. I was on eBay recently, so it might still be on eBay.
Oh, there you go. I was just going to say, so there's a bunch of prelims that I found that he was posting up for sale, probably to help cover medical costs, I'm assuming. So that, hopefully the sales of those are still going to his family that are maybe helping pay for some of those costs still. But a bunch of his prelims are still available for really reasonable prices. If you check out like his Twitter, for example, there's links to it there. Oh, that's cool. Everything's cool. Everything we're going to show is cool. Wow.
Yeah, just I remember going, like, you go to the mall around Christmas time, and there would always be those calendars, just amazing artwork. Like,
yeah,
you'll see some of that stuff coming out. That's
Sauron. Yeah. And then, sorry, this isn't all in specific genre order. You'll see groups of things together, but we might jump around a little bit.
Right.
I don't know if that's Smog on his pile. Yeah, that's cool. A lot of Lord of the Rings related art, a lot of Magic.
That one, I guess, was just recent. That was he just did.
Wow. So, again, with the lighting, that's very cool.
He used to do like a lot of like Terry Brooks covers and stuff too, the fantasy novels and everything.
Yeah.
So a little Wizard of Oz action going on there. Through the water on the witch.
Yeah. That's cool. Oh, there's a magic card.
Yeah, there we go. Speaking of Magic the Gathering, yep.
Yeah. Such cool stuff. It just screams fantasy to me.
He's amazing. He was a master for sure.
It's got to be Galadriel, I assume.
Galadriel. I think there's a couple of Galadriel pictures in here.
That's cool.
That's some, yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Is it? Are those because those are the Rohirrim and those must be some dwarves?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what that. I think that is. Yeah, the Rohirrim.
Okay.
He did a lot of he delved into a lot of the deeper storyline stuff that we don't see in the movies and stuff. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I've read all the books too, but it's just it's interesting. I don't remember the Rohirrim having to talk to a bunch of dwarves. So I don't know, but that is amazing.
That's great.
That is amazing.
And with the lighting, yeah.
Yeah.
Calendars.
I know there's at least 2 calendar covers on here. That's so cool. Oh, the Return of Gandalf. Wow.
It's amazing. Again with the lighting, super epic lighting.
Well, and I think the scene in the movie might be drawn directly from that too, because that's very much how it's displayed.
Right.
Wow.
I think these are the art pieces to the calendars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that one.
It's so good.
This texturing of the trees and stuff too.
I'm just in awe every time I look at his stuff.
I think that's a Terry Brooks novel. I covered one of those. I remember my mom used to have those big hardcover novels. I love them.
Yeah. That's cool. I love the ring going on. He's starting to turn invisible.
Right.
The 1978. Man, in 1978, that would have been so cool. I think you would have been branded a hella nerd, but it still would have been cool.
Right.
I would have worn it proudly, just like I did when I was growing up in the 80s, but still.
I mean, that, dude, I think he was at his peak and probably in the 70s, early 80s and late 70s. Just amazing. There we go. That's the Balrog. Yep.
That's cool. I like that interpretation. I mean, the one in the movie is very cool, but it's also very Diablo to me.
Right.
But that's pretty cool.
This screams like this goes on the side of a van, right?
Yeah, like a blacklight poster. We know what you're doing if you got this poster on your wall.
Right.
So
I think that one's called Wizard's Journey or something.
Yeah, okay. I almost want to say maybe is this the ship from Time Bandits or something, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
jeez, that's amazing. Just the texturing of the tree and the int. I guess that's an int, right?
I would assume so. But he did so much that it could be, airbrushed for sure. Yep. She was my favorite Lord of the Rings character too. No, the Marvel stuff. I mean, it's what I probably most closely associate just because of my love of Marvel stuff. But the fantasy stuff is just top notch. But then seeing him do other styles of subject matter, it's just fantastic. It translates so well.
And just to pivot to that style, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Such a talented guy.
Silakia of the Shire. That's funny. Oh, and then
This one, I didn't even realize that was him. That when I was doing the research, and I was like, oh my god, that piece of artwork is like big and burned into my memory from a little kid. I was like, oh my god, I didn't realize that was Hildebrandt.
Yeah, like there's a crazy like Mount Rushmore of Star Wars artists. Like there's Hildebrandt because of this image alone. There's Ralph McQuarrie, of course.
Right.
Dave Dorman did a lot of great Star Wars stuff too. I would dare to even say who the fourth one would be on that Mount Rushmore. If you can make the argument, maybe Dorman is even on there, but he did so much great Star Wars artwork too. But just talk about iconic, and just I think pretty much all of us can relate to that stuff.
Spidey.
Yeah, Ben Reilly. Not Ben Reilly. So cool.
Poster, I think, like a big old full-size poster you hang up in your room.
Nice.
Back in the day.
Yeah, there's some classic Tales ones in here. This one's great.
Yeah. The perspective on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So I found a couple I added to the very end of this that are from, I think he did a series called American Beauties.
Okay.
And I think this might be from that as well. But he did a lot, like a diverse range of artwork. There's actually quite a bit of like pinup and some cheesecake type stuff too that I found that was fantastic. Some of it I've seen before, but
that one I love, just all of the line work in that, and
like the tree and everything, and the ground,
fur and like
everything,
everything about it.
Yeah.
This one too. Sure.
Yeah.
I think that was a cover to Heavy Metal, actually.
Oh, that makes sense. I could see that. This one, there's a really desaturated copy of this image. I think this is a very vibrant Thor image, but this is great.
Right. Beautiful.
That's cool.
Right. God, what a talented guy. Love
Amazing.
that.
And like you could have done a missile in the background. You could have done a fighter. Just having it be a space shuttle was so cool because it just shows like her altitude. I mean, granted, you can see like the curvature of the Earth, so it's getting pretty up there, but it just kind of helps show that so much. And you can kind of like imagine she's like getting to save some astronauts or something, right? Like this is cool. Go up to Asteroid M. This is one that stuck with me for a long time after I first saw it.
Yeah, that one is amazing.
There's a lot of amazing Galactus, Kirby, all kind. There's a lot of great Galactus stuff, but this one actually like helps convey some of that destruction. It's very visceral.
Yeah, very cosmic. Yeah, destruction on a cosmic level. That one.
That's got. I know people can't see it, but I have something kind of similar, like Deadpool going up against Thanos. I have Deadpool like sitting on the shoulder of my giant Marvel Legends Sentinel back here, just like pew pew pewing at its head, just like pointlessly. Kind of reminds me of that. Yeah, fighting over death. Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. So this is one of the American Beauty pieces that he did that I thought was really cool, just because it's completely separate from, a lot of the other stuff that we pulled, because he just had such a wide range. And I actually don't think I'll show the last.
Was the last one a little sketchy?
It's a little. It's not the last one, but then this is the next one, I should say. So let me just kind of.
Let me look. I can see the background.
This one I thought was awesome. This one's called Lipstick.
Yeah, I like that one.
This one's one of those ones where if you kind of, squint a little bit, it looks like a photo to me.
It's white detail.
So I think it's the next one. And there you go. You can see it in the back. I mean, it's just a little. I don't know. This one reminded me big time like White Queen vibes.
Yeah.
And then, oh, actually, you know what? That wasn't the one that was. I'll show this one. This is from that same American Beauty. Perfect, right in time, right on time, Travis. This was just for you. But yeah, he just had a great range of stuff. Like you can here, I'll show you real fast in the backstage. You can kind of see the one I didn't show. Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe inspired.
Very, very. Actually, I will pull up
that on the on your Discord.
Yeah, exactly. I'll post up some of that stuff on the Discord for sure, and I'll actually go right now. I'll show you guys just real quick. I won't go on this forever, but there are a couple of the prelims that he did that I just want to show real fast. I'll show this Wolverine one he did is really cool. But these are the ones that you can find, again, if you go look at his Twitter. The links are still up for these. And these like, you can buy this right now for like $100, $150, $200 or something like that.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, obviously his, finished painted stuff is probably going to be more in demand or whatever you want to call it. But
right,
I still think it's cool.
Original piece of Hildebrandt art for less than a couple $100. That's beautiful.
Yeah. You can kind of see some of the line work and everything too.
Right.
Yeah.
Did a great job of capturing his likeness.
100%. And I guess I'll show this Red Sonja one too.
Nice.
But he's such a cool and talented artist. I think I can't think of a better way to celebrate somebody like that other than to look at the amazing work they've done. So thanks for going along that ride with us, everybody.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was fun putting the pictures together.
You did a great job for sure. Yeah, and I'll post a few of the more like none of them are like super graphic or anything like that, but just,
a little racy, a little spicy.
Yeah. The more pinup style ones. I'll post those on the Discord if you guys want to see them. But yeah. So speaking of artwork,
hey, we've got some talented individuals in the community.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Before you even say that, speaking of talented individuals in the community, the final show I want to talk to you about that's going to happen on the EXP tomorrow at 10 Eastern, 9 Central is Kicking It with Henri. Henri Compen is a comic book creator. He also does some comic book sales shows on the EXP. I have picked up some fantastic books from Henri before. He does a really nice job, really like chill, laid back, low, no pressure, I would say is probably the best way to put it. Sales, if you're into that kind of a claim sale, always has a nice variety of stuff to choose from and a lot of good affordable books too. So if you want to go get some good reading material, if you want to, put in some requests or that kind of stuff too, he's usually pretty open to that. And he usually offers some like cool bundle deals too of like a bunch of low cost books that are really awesome and worth checking out. So again, you can check that out tomorrow at 10 Eastern. Before that, you've got James and Minthunter Comics is going to be doing a claim sale at 8 Eastern. And then before that, you can check out Minute to Skim It at 7 Eastern over on the EXP channel, which you should go subscribe to because even though they're already at 3,000 subscribers, we can get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. And we will get more and more and more content from them, which is awesome. So go check that out for sure. All right. We got some community artwork that we were going to show off. Let me open up another window here and we're going to start, I think, alphabetically because that's just how life works sometimes, right?
Sounds good.
So many little clicks I got to do just to show you some awesome artwork. But first up from Actual Dracula, who was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but he hopped in and said hello. We have some... There's a lot going on here. So the thing that I gravitate towards this with is because I just watched it for the first time. I just watched Bram Stoker's Dracula from like 1991, the Francis Ford Coppola one.
What do you think?
Man, it is wild.
There's some stuff there. I mean, there's definitely some good stuff and some interesting stuff.
Yeah, I thought the practical effects and the use of practical effects was pretty amazing for the time, especially.
Right.
Gary Oldman's performance does a lot of heavy lifting in that.
Right.
And then stole the show, Monica Bellucci. You know, and to be fair, I've seen chunks of it before, but I think my parents were, interestingly enough, didn't show me that movie, even though they made me watch Predator in 1987. So, you know, like, I don't know. But for those that don't know the math there, I was 5. So, but for some reason they didn't show me that one, probably for the best at the time. However, I finally I got to watch it, but I've seen chunks of it over the years. I was just like, I've never sat down and watched this. You know what? So it probably came out on video when I watched it. So I was probably like 6 or 7, but yeah, I was pretty young. I watched a lot of that stuff when I was young, and I turned out totally fine. Clearly. Anyway, actual Dracula doing some amazing art here.
It's the last one right there, as you said.
Yeah. Wow.
So that an homage to what's his name? I forget his name. There's a YouTuber that has the mask.
Oh well, no, that's now I'm forgetting the person who's totally blanking on it.
It's like I said, I had his name on his just went away. Yeah, I know exactly who that is.
Oh boy, I wish chat would help us out here because I'm dying. I feel bad.
He's a very talented artist in his own right.
Yes. Yes. And that's the thing is I think that the depth of this is lost on me because I'm not familiar with their work, even though I've heard the name a bunch. But yeah, so I guess we should show the other artwork that we are more familiar with, which is this fantastic piece.
That he sent that to me. I was like, oh my God, that's so good.
Dude, it's awesome. So did he burn the page?
Burned the edge of it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. That's metal. Man, I'm still, it's messing with me. I can't remember that guy's name. But anyways, that is so cool. Hats off, actual Dracula. Yeah, literally. Great job. Ben Taz has some entries here. Kind of missed the Halloween on this one, but is that supposed to be Poe?
That could be Poe.
Yeah, Edgar Allan.
Yeah. We got a little bit of Halloween bleed over on a few of these pieces of artwork.
Yeah, especially Comics Limited. I chose the ones that were the closest to Halloween. We'll have a lot of his other art coming up in future shows, but tried to get the Halloween ones in here, even though it's slightly after Halloween. But one of these I had to censor the heck out of. That's, I think, the next one I'll show. But you'll be able to see the full unlocked version over on our Discord. Yeah, Ben Taz is awesome. Agreed, Richard. I love this. I don't know why this reminds me of Calvin and Hobbes.
Totally. Yeah.
So here's the censored one. I won't show it for very long because I don't want to get the EXP in trouble. I did run this by producer Kyle, and he said as long as I put bars over it, it's fine. And here's the funny part. She's actually not really even nude under that.
It looks worse than the bars, actually.
I think so. But I totally understand, and we'll quickly move on to Comics Limited's wonderful art. Ben, great job on that piece. And again, I'll post the uncensored version up on the Discord. But here's some stuff from Comics Limited, who's in the chat right now. Did these? Was it? Do you say he got commissioned to do these for Halloween? Is that what you said?
Or Haunted House.
For Haunted House, right on. Very cool. I love that. I hate clowns. I mean, I'm not like scared of clowns. I just don't like them. There was a restaurant. Actually, you might know about this. There was a restaurant in my hometown that was called like the 3 Clowns or 4 Clowns when I was growing up or whatever. And it had a clown motif. And I think that just kind of scarred me as a kid. Classic style clown, I guess you could call it. Very cool. This one, I know he probably showing off some of his comic collection there, but thought that one was like the coolest, like as far as like styling goes. But
basically his hand is coming out of the top of his head.
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. So for me, I thought like you're talking about right up here.
Yeah.
I always thought that was like a wolf howling kind of or something.
Oh, there's that too. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, you're probably right.
You know, like a face on a torso almost with the,
yeah.
It's
creepy.
It's pretty cool.
But he'll have, he sent, we actually have like, I think 5 or 6 other illustrations from Comics Limited will show that aren't clown related in the next episode. But very cool stuff. Good job. Good job, Travis. This is some art from Eddie Rodriguez. We've displayed Eddie's artwork before as well. This Stormtrooper, I get the impression he's never going to miss. That's my impression I get from him.
Right. That's a dedicated Stormtrooper. And hey, just while we're looking at Eddie's artwork, best wishes to Eddie. I was talking to him tonight, seeing if he had any new artwork he wanted to show off, and he said that life is just pounding on him. So hey, Eddie, stay strong.
Yeah, man. Keep your chin up. Trust me, I'm not like going through hell or anything like that, but I'm going through some pretty bad times and just with a few things in life. And I know it can be pretty bad, but
encouragement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Love
awesome. That. I love that. That's awesome.
This is the comment this is the moment of the video that Preston is going to comment on the rewatch. I guarantee it. Big Power Girl fan. I'm trying to think, what else do I have on here? Oh yeah, that's right. We have Roscoe. So there's kind of 3 of his that I kind of thought were costume-esque, and so I pulled the 3 of his that are the most costumey. Dr. Doom, love it.
Richard says, Power Girl, Sydney Sweeney.
I mean, it's kind of right there. Oh, Jay. Oh, that's funny. That's cool. I love that. Every time Roscoe does one of these mashups, I'm always just in awe.
He's another one of the most talented Condiment King.
It's one of those things. If you told me that I'd be excited to see some Condiment King artwork, I'd be like, I don't know about that. but Roscoe made it happen, man. He does a great job. So definitely some people that we want to reach out to on this list, see if they'll want to come help draw some stuff for our community artwork stream for Heroes for Heroes, so we can raise some money for Mission 22. Fantastic job to our artists. Folks, if you have art out there, here's how this is going to work. Everything the next couple of weeks is about Heroes for Heroes. Honestly, even for a little bit after that, it's going to be about shipping out orders and taking care of stuff like that. November 16th, the big day. Saturday, we're going to probably have that art stream over on Alan the Comic Collector Geeks channel. So definitely go get subscribed up to him. Subscribe to Comics Limited. We posted that link into the chat earlier as well. But after that, Bigby and I are going to formalize our contest where if you've sent in community artwork that we've shown on the show, or even to us that we weren't able to show on the show, has happened a couple times. We'll post up, like our favorite pieces or something like that from you before the end of the year, and then we'll have people vote on them, and the winner will get a prize package from us. So we're going to send you a little something. Yes. It is hair. Okay, so we got the canon explanation there. It was hair.
I like it, very open to interpretation.
Like clouds, right?
Yeah.
Still trying to remember that guy's name with the mask.
That's bothering me too. It's right there on the tip of my tongue. He's a super nice guy, great talented artist. I can't remember his name.
And by the way, I totally forgot. You sent me some artwork too that we'll get in the next week's show, and probably a couple of weeks after that from another talented artist that we'll feature on the next episode.
That guy is. I saw his stuff on Instagram, and I'm like, I commented. I said, "Your stuff is amazing," and then he started commenting on my posts of my artwork, and he's like, "No, your stuff's amazing." I'm like, No. It's interesting how we can appreciate someone else's skill set.
Yeah,
and we don't think much of our own. It's like, no, my stuff. What? Your stuff? Whoa!
This guy, his Insta is justj.art. So JUSTJAY.ART on Instagram. Marlon J. Blue is the artist's name. He should be doing like Department of Truth variant covers or something. Like,
you take one piece of his art and just show one piece.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like what the best one to. Here, I'll put up this one. Bear with me.
No problem. Yeah, no. And I think English is a second language, I think, just from talking to him. But just.
So this isn't the official. You might see this again. This isn't the official submission or anything like that. But man, that is just, and like, this is a little bit of a blurry image or whatever. But like, you go in and it's just detail work after detail.
Yeah, it's amazing. And if you watch his stuff on Instagram, he has music and speech. Yuko Smith is also somebody actually I talked to him this evening. He's interested in coming on and being interviewed on our show. So he does amazing art as well. We were kind of sharing. Yeah, we were sharing up some stuff. Actually, I have one of his. Because we had that in the chat, I'll post that up. I'll just pull it up real fast. It's a little cheeky, but it's not. It's something we can show for sure. Yeah, it's stuff.
Very nice. It's kind of because this is a photo of the art, so it's kind of like at an angle. But
yeah, he does that with a lot of it. I think to prevent people from printing off his artwork, he's
smart.
So.
But yeah, he does amazing art. Ever since Bigby kind of turned me on to him, I've been following him and love his artwork. So
I got to meet him at Terrificon and got to talk to him for about an hour, just chatting about artwork and our philosophies on drawing and everything. And just a wonderful person to talk to.
So, kind of the last thing I'll kind of leave off the show with is that we are approaching Heroes for Heroes. There is a lot of different ways to support. It's still technically not too late, like Awesome Sauce, Adam in the chat was saying earlier. If you want to send in some stuff, as long as you can send it in quickly, hit me up, and I'll give you my address to make sure you can do that. If you want to donate, like Bigby alluded to earlier, hitting up your employer or businesses that are local in your area that might be interested in donating is another way that you could give by maybe donating your time to talk to those businesses. We've had a couple nibbles on fishing lines, so to speak, about people that might be doing that, which if those businesses do that, it could be huge because them, if they donate like $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever, they write it off on their taxes. That can be good for them. They're giving back. They're able to kind of do that and do it for their tax reasons, and it's great for the charity that we're working with for Mission 22. So, highly recommend bringing that up. You know, a lot of times if you do donations, your employer will back those donations for some people that have employers like that. So that's worth considering as well. For anybody who needs tax information, in terms of like if you've donated in the past and you didn't send in your information with it for tax purposes, just let me know and I can get the stuff for you that you need for that too.
Can I do a quick shameless plug?
I love Chris's questions.
You're amazing, Chris.
I think that would be very terrible for both Bigby and I's.
One of us could hold the camera and talk, and the other one would drive and talk.
We'd probably get canceled pretty quickly, is my guess. We would just be like firing from the hip.
If you want to own this book, there's a video I just put up on my channel about what I call it. Important channel update. So there's some stuff on there about, you know, memberships and whatnot. And there's more than just that. So
cool.
I'll just leave it at that.
Bigby opened up his memberships on his channel. Highly recommend going and checking it out. I say that as somebody who knows some of the plans that he has in place. It's one of those things where the more he has, the cooler it's going to get too. So, but yeah, definitely go sub up Bigby, as Richard says there.
I got rid of the big tier and just went 3 tiers, you know. So
okay,
it's not super spendy, and there's 2 9/8 slabs and that Bane book for the middle tier.
It's pretty cool. So go check that out. Anything else you have coming up this week you want to talk about?
I have so much content on my phone that I need to get uploaded. It's not even funny. I am planning on doing a montage piece with all of that Hildebrandt art.
Nice.
So I'll probably be doing that as well. I try not to spoil any of that before the show, but then after the show's over, I try to make it use double duty my time. You know, I've taken the time to get all those photos and crop them and get them all ready. I'm going to use it for that.
Jay says, was it Bobby Delgado that wears the MF Doom mask?
Bobby Delgado.
Perfect.
Yes, and he is super talented, super nice, has some amazing artwork. Yes. A Comics Limited guy set me up for my first 2 subscribers, Comics Limited, and one of my good friends going way back, Marcus from Astoria. So
nice.
But would love to have all you guys on board, and I appreciate everybody who's watched and given me watch hours and subscription to get me to where I'm at. So
I'll do it once I have money in my account that can go towards these things and not towards super stupid expensive car repairs.
I was kind of amazed at how big a bite YouTube takes out of those things. But
yeah, it's definitely
30,
quite a bit. Who would win in a fight between Null and Madam Web? I'm going to say Sony. Sony would win. Nice. I'm glad you came up with that.
Yeah, Bobby, like I said, I've seen a bunch of his artwork. He's super talented, and like I've seen him selling his artwork for charity, and then doesn't, like we're just talking about, doesn't realize how talented he is himself. You know, so it doesn't talk about himself like, you know, I'm so great kind of fashion.
Humble.
Yes, very humble.
And then other things, yeah. So real fast, check back probably Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. There will be a stream with one of the representatives of Mission 22 to talk about that charity and kind of answer some questions and talk about some of the things there.
I would say need.
One of them is.
You can use one when you're out of the other. I don't know.
I want to say the answer has to do with sheets. I'm saying that very carefully, sheets, but I'm trying to think of what it would be. One of them comes in sheets, but that is, yeah, it's.
So you did it. The first time I went to the Sick and Twisted Animation Festival, there was a cartoon called Here Kitty Kitty. That's pretty hilarious.
All right. Well, we got some viewing recommendations out there for everybody. So yeah, Wednesday you'll be able to check that out, and then follow along for my socials, and I'm sure pretty much everybody related to this. We'll be talking about whether or not we're going to do that community-based art stream on Saturday over on Comic Collector Geek. Sounds like probably. We just want to make sure we have all the details in a row before we make it official, but be prepared for that. And if you're interested in participating in that, hit us up so we can get you in touch with the people that are running that particular event, like Comics Limited. I think Bigby is going to be on that as well, it sounds like. I'll be around, but probably in the chat that day. And then Alan, Comic Collector Geek as well. So we have that going on, and all of it's gearing up towards November 16th. But in the meantime, next Monday, we have one more show before Heroes for Heroes, and that will be next Monday, where we come back and check out another wonderful topic about comic books or something comic book related. I wish I could tell you what that was, but I won't think of it till tomorrow or the next day when I talk to Bigby and we try to figure out what are we going to talk about next week. Mm-hmm. But you also could let us know what you want to hear us talk about. Maybe it's a topic that's been bugging you. Maybe it's something that's on your mind. Let us know in the comments down below. We love that stuff. So that'd be great. In the meantime, before we sign off, I just want to remind everybody that I recommend reading comic books every day because it certainly helps me. I hope it helps you. I do this thing at the end of my pre-recorded videos where I do a big long pause, and it doesn't really work on live streams, but maybe one of these days I'll try it. But yeah, read comic books every day. I believe Bigby has some advice for you as well.
Share your love of comics with everyone you meet. You never know where it may lead you. You might meet a bunch of cool people like we've had here in the live stream tonight.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, have a great night. Thanks for being so awesome, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.